Arsenal 4, Bayer Leverkusen 1, and in truth, it was a beatdown by Arsenal. They go into their penultimate preseason game ahead of what is going to be a very, very big year. A very, very big year indeed for Arsenal. Title contenders the last two campaigns, and a real need, a real determination to go that one step further. And preseason, it's been a little bit up and down so far in terms of results. But tonight, they sent a message. Tonight, they came together, I think, in the way in which many of us expected Arsenal to do. Once they start getting their players back, once they find their rhythm, their main centre-back start together and things like this, there was going to be a different level shown from this side. And we saw it tonight. And when you consider who they were up against, Arsenal looked deadly. Bayer Leverkusen, invincible Bundesliga champions. They won the German trophy. In fact, they lost one game in the whole campaign last year, and that was the Europa League final to Atalanta. But Arsenal looked absolutely formidable tonight. Some of the football, the one-touch displays, the speed, the ball was moving, the intensity now starting to come into their game. And listen, there have been some Arsenal fans I've seen over the course of this summer talking about how they're going to struggle this year. There's going to be a massive fall off. So far, that's guesswork, not on the evidence that I have personally seen. I thought Trossard tonight looked absolutely brilliant on that left-hand side. His goal was majestic. The build-up play that led to Zinchenko's goal, the opener, was out of this world, especially the dummy. I'm not even too sure who the dummy was from now. I want to say it was from, I don't even know who it was from. I forget. They didn't really show the replays where I was watching it. Excellent in relation to that. You also have to focus on the brilliant play from Gabriel Jesus tonight. And if Arsenal, and it is an if Arsenal can keep him fit, if Arsenal can keep him ticking, if Arsenal can keep him available, he could be a massive, massive asset. He's already a massive asset, but sometimes when a player spends a lot of a season away, you kind of forget about the quality they possess. And then look, Kai Havertz played two positions tonight when he got moved up front, scored a really good goal. Bukayo Saka coming on, looking sharp, looking dangerous. There was, of course, the academy products, the likes of Nwaneri and Skelly, who came on. And again, both looked, I only learned this out about Skelly tonight, that he's not actually a fullback. He's a midfielder. I'm not an Arsenal fan, in case anyone's wondering. Both came on and looked really comfortable indeed. But overall, I think Arsenal fans will be impressed. The most important thing is fitness, getting your sharpness ready for the beginning of the campaign. But if there were any concerns, our last two previous summer preseason tours, we looked amazing. We've not been quite as good this year. I think as more of your players return, as that sharpness arrives ahead of what needs to be a quick start in the Premier League season, it was another impeccable night and another top performance for Arsenal. And I'm not going to lie, Arsenal's detractors, I saw a lot of them in comment sections today on videos that I did. Arsenal are going to get battered later. They're going to get a proper test later. They're going to get embarrassed at home. So a lot of people were expecting Arsenal to really get beat tonight. But they just absolutely outclassed Leverkusen every step of the way. I think once the game hit about 60, 65 minutes, you stop sort of assessing it as a contest. Both sides making huge changes, which is abnormal for football. But in the opening 65 minutes, I think Arsenal will be happy. They go on to the game. I want to say they're playing Lyon. I'm not too sure. In the Emirates Cup this weekend, their final preseason game, where you'll probably see players are going to start the campaign, get 75 to 80, maybe even 90 minutes in some cases, so that with a further week's rest, they're ready to start off a campaign, which we all know you've got to start well. I think to win a Premier League now, you have to start fast. You have to get lots of, in your first 10 games, I mean, ideally you'd want 30, but I think you've got to get a minimum 25 points out your opening 30 available to genuinely have a chance of beating this impeccable Manchester City team. And what I think is going to be an excellent Liverpool team, especially if they end up signing Zubimendi, as we've seen in the news today. So Arsenal looking ready and raring to go ahead of the new English Premier League season. What a player. Listen, I don't know much about this young man. As I say, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't follow your academy, but I've been impressed with him this year. Nwaneri as well. I think both. You think about players that might still leave. You might have Reece Nelson and Eddie leave. You've had Elneny go out the club. I think these two should very much be part of the League Cup team to begin with, in and around the first team, but definitely given opportunities this season in the first team because they both look like they've got the minerals to genuinely step up. Let's have a little look here at a few things here. Every game after a win becomes the real test. Well, that's not necessarily true. Like we've caveated it. You don't really count the game after 65 minutes as a team performance because there's too many changes. That doesn't happen in real football. Sharpness and fitness is the most important element. But as we stated just the other day, preseason tours up until 10 to 15 years ago were quite literally, you would go to America or China or South America or South Africa or Brazil, and you would play the local sides. And typically you were playing teams at a much lower level than you, There was no test. Now you literally got Arsenal in the last couple of weeks, played Liverpool, played Man United, and played a team that nearly did an invincible treble last year. There is a bigger test in terms of where you are at. And we've seen that. We cannot compare the performances of Arsenal to say that of Chelsea. We can see there's defensive issues there. That's probably not just going to clear up with the click of your fingers and a few players like they've just done the deal, by the way, for Samu Amarodian. But it definitely is a test, not the hardest test. The hardest test is going to be the league game. Havertz 3GA, according to Chelsea fans, 60 million down the drain. The rhetoric has changed to it's just pre-season for them, wafflers. Well, people pick and choose what they say all the time. Prime Henri here says, good knockabout. We can't be letting Partey leave on a free at the end of the season. He's too damn good. When fit, there's no doubt about it. Terry, let's not overcook this now. I don't think I am overcooking it. I think you look sharp, ready for the season. I've said you look deadly. And you're going to peak. Start playing title contending worthy football. And one thing I will say is this: every single match is important. There is no well, it's beginning of the season, blow the cobwebs out, will be okay. Every game matters. Lose the first game of the season, that can stop you winning the Premier League. Facts. In the end, you miss out by a singular point because you started the season in an unsharp, unready, unprepared way, and you lose the campaign by a point, you'll feel it. That's all I'm stating, my friend. That's all I'm stating indeed. Super Chat here says, let's not get carried away. It's pre-season. However, determination, intensity, progressive play, creativity, it's all the things you want to see going into the new season. Absolutely, Ricky. I agree with that completely. Everything you said. Plus, there's still Calafiori. So I was actually looking forward to seeing him tonight, what he's about in an Arsenal shirt. Maybe he'll play against Lyon. I haven't actually read any Arsenal news to know the detail of that. On top of that, Moreno is still likely to come in and maybe an attacker as well. So Arsenal haven't even had the pleasure yet of any of their new signings, the ones that are here and ones that are potentially coming, go on the pitch. So I think there's a lot to look forward to if you are indeed a Gooner. I got Dyer and I got Saad coming onto the show with me now. Welcome back, gentlemen. I hope you're both well. I hope you're both good.
Good, man.
Can't complain, man. It was a very good game. I can't lie. I was happy, man. Listen, I know people will say it's pre-season, this and that, but I'm just happy to see Arsenal play again, man. And I think that was a brilliant performance. Yes, it's pre-season. Yes, it's not a competitive game, but you can just see the intent, like everybody else has been saying, man. The intent is there. They look like they're not. It's not like they're gonna come back and they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's just give a half-assed performance. Let's just play it like 30% or 40%. They did that at the start. You could see that in the Man United game. There were some passes that were off. They didn't look as solid as they do now, as awake as they do now. They look wide awake now. They look like the Arsenal that we saw last season. And listen, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think we're moving the ball very well. getting into dangerous positions. I'm liking Ethan Nwaneri as well. Listen, there's just the way he moves with the ball, and Miles Lewis Skelly as well. Both of them very good, very technical players on the ball, very good. They were obviously playing in the under 21s last season, but apparently they're looking to get more of a prominent situation where they're actually getting into the first team and actually trying to play. They're going to bring them on a bit more, give them a bit more minutes. So that's always good to see. Obviously, Havertz with the 2 assists and the goal. So whoever's a Havertz hater, hold that, frauds. But listen, overall, it's a good performance. Everybody's looking good. Everybody's looking well. And I'm ready for the new season coming up, man, because we need, like you said, Tel, it's just that simple. For you to genuinely win that title, you have to go out, and realistically, I don't even think 25 points is enough. You have to go 30 for 30, first 10 games or however many it is, go 30 for 30 and just show the other teams, like, bro, we're not here to mess about this season. Yeah, we're here to win the league. So if you want to do what you want to do whatever you're doing, but you have to catch up to us. That's the precedent we have to set. You have to catch up to us, not we're catching up to your level. You have to get to our level is what we have to do.
No, I agree with that. I hear you, bro. Dio, a long time no see, my friend. I hope
Long
you're
time
well.
no see.
And
I'm good.
I know it feels like it's been a while, but as you say, your season starts in, really and truly, it's just over a week now until the Premier League season begins. Do you feel by watching that tonight, you're ready for another title challenging campaign?
I think that the team just looks sharp, and that's what I was looking for. It's preseason. I wanted to just see a team looking sharp. And the second thing that made me happy was to see Bukayo Saka on the bench, coming off the bench. Like, the team that we started was good enough to put 3 goals in before we could even bring in the likes of Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka and even Gabriel Martinelli, which is a good thing. It's a good sign to be able to field a team that can at least hold their own up to Bayer Leverkusen. Yes, it's a friendly. For me, like you said, the first 60 minutes is what I gauge a friendly by, because that's where you have the majority of like your first team players actually play. The last 30 minutes of it, you can swap the whole 12. I don't care. But that first 60 minutes showed me that we still need a bit more depth to be able to go and challenge this season. But it's a good thing to be able to see that we can, start a team like that and have Bukayo Saka come in later for Leandro Trossard, or Martinelli coming. So Martinelli coming for Leandro Trossard, and Bukayo Saka coming for Jesus, and then probably just change Havertz from midfield to center forward like we did during the game. So in-game management, I was happy with that. The guys looked sharp. They were really creating space for each other. That's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see how they were moving, because I felt they were a little leggy in the last couple of games. You could kind of see like they played well, but but this time around they looked really sharp. So yeah. So I think we're ready. I think we're ready for the season. And I will say this: you don't need 25, or you don't even need 30 points to win this league again this season. Arsenal just needs to go and get 114 points. You just need to win all 38 games, because City is not. I'm telling you, I'm saying it now. City is not going to let off. People are not listening now. City is not going to let off. Liverpool are looking. They're looking deadly. You need to go and win all 38 games to win the league. That's your goal. So even if you now lose out in 2 games, maybe 1 Liverpool, 1 City game away, you know that your target is aim for the moon. If you miss, you land among the stars. Yeah, but don't try to let off this season. We can't. Every team should be going for that. That's what I think. That's the only way you're winning the league with this City, against this City and Pep team.
Well, I listen. It's the only way to guarantee you win the league is probably by winning all 38 games. But I think the start of the campaign is going to be so key. And one of the big questions I had today, and I was listening listening to your commentators speak, the Arsenal commentators, and they were essentially asking about, well, is Jesus going to start as the 9? Or is it going to be Kai Havertz? What do you think, Dio? What do you think Arteta should do? Rather than what he will do, what do you believe he should do for the opening game? Should it be Kai Havertz starts as the number 9? Or has Gabriel Jesus done enough in pre-season to warrant that starting berth?
If I'm Arteta, what I would do is both players can play in multiple positions. And that's what I like. I don't like this idea of shoehorning a player to the 9, like Gabriel Jesus play the 9 and then say Kai Havertz play in midfield. Both of you can play off each other. And for me, what's key is making sure you know when you're playing off each other. So if Gabby is playing in the 9 and Havertz is dropping in a little bit into the midfield, every time, because Gabriel Jesus likes to drop in as well. When he comes to collect the ball, Havertz go running behind. Both of you can play off each other. I mean, why can't we have the best of both worlds? I think people are really just trying to shoehorn this concept of, oh, you're going to have a problem if you play Havertz up front, or he's not good enough. Now Gabriel Jesus is in form. Play Gabriel Jesus at the 9. I think both of them can play. We saw it today. We saw them at least be able to move and play off each other really, really nicely. If they can up that notch a little bit more, go one level higher and do it better and sharper, I think they can play off each other.
How about yourself, Saad?
To be honest, for me, you know what? I personally think, looking at the striker position at the moment, obviously with Kai Havertz, the season that he had previously, but even now, I think Jesus this season, he's bulked up a little bit. So he looks like he's really taking his health seriously in his fitness seriously to try and say to the gaffer, like, bro, I'm not gonna get injured easy. I want to play. I want your trust in me. So I think we should give Jesus the chance. Worst for worse, you can bring on Havertz, but I don't know if Havertz should start in the midfield. I think if we get in Mikel Merino 100% plays that first game. That's a guaranteed. If not, it's Rice and Partey. But
I would say this, Saad, I'll say this.
The position bro. No, yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah, I hear a lot of Arsenal fans say this. Oh, Mikel Merino comes in, he needs to play the first game, blah blah blah. I still think that this Arsenal team is a team that is ready to kick off the season and start winning games while we fit in these players and fit them in correctly. Merino coming in is not going to guarantee us a whole big difference. Yes, he's defensive, but what I'm saying is, like, we already have a team that is good enough to actually start the season, win a couple of games while we're really fitting these guys in and making sure that they fit into the right position that we want them to fit into. This idea that, oh, we're just going to drop a couple of pieces in and that just transforms the entire team, I think is a joke. And fans need to realize that it doesn't work that way, because he's coming to a different league. He's going to need to adapt one way or the other. Remember, these people are coming. He needs to settle down the house, get a place to stay, training. Like, there's going to be all of these other factors that all these players, when they settle down, affects them on the pitch. So we shouldn't be in a rush.
If you get the here we go tonight for Moreno, I don't think he's going to be ready to start the season for Arsenal. Would you play on the Saturday or the Sunday?
Sunday. I think we play on Sunday.
Sunday. So what you've got sort of 9 days until your campaign begins. Jesus, Man United is going to be 8 days away from tomorrow. Bloody hell. So yeah, there's no way you're probably going to get him up to speed and starting that. You know, he hasn't had a preseason at all. He's been away partying after Spain's victory. So, you know, it's going to take a little bit of time, which is probably why the manager.
Saturday, sorry,
on the Saturday.
I thought it was a Sunday. I hadn't even. I thought it was.
Fair do. It's all weird for you anyway, because it is. Yeah, I mean,
the time difference
it's probably basically a Friday still for you sometimes, and they're playing a Saturday. I hear you. So yeah, as I say, I think it's interesting to see what you're going to do. I did look at the game tonight though and think I can so understand why Calafiori is going to come. I thought Zinchenko played well, especially in possession. But what I did notice Bayer Leverkusen trying to do is attack that left hand side, and he did well. He did well defensively as well. I mean, a couple of times, what's his name, got in behind him, and defenders, even good defenders, people getting behind them. Let's be realistic here, you know. So he didn't cause any calamity. There was a ball that normally Zinchenko in that position would have lost the ball. This one, he cleared it out. I was happy to see him start doing that. He didn't want to do that overconfident. I'm just going to stay in the box and try to pass it. He was like, nah, boom. Get it out. Let's get it up the field, and then we'll try and win the second ball. You know, so I think he had a very, 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 very decent game. I think Zinchenko played really well today. Defensively, he didn't look shambolic, and I think a lot of people are looking at him with the shambolic defense that they saw last season and refuse to see that he's actually improved in his little, like. And I'm not saying he has become great, no, but he wasn't calamitous. It wasn't a calamity like, oh, I wasn't panicking like last season. The way he was playing today, I was like, okay.
you look like you at least know how to win the ball back now. Just
yeah, he did.
you know,
He did well today. I mean, this year says Zinchenko will be exploited. Opposition's team know that Timber is injured, but I did read a report today that Timber should be available for the Lyon game.
yeah, I think Timber, yeah, like that's another thing. We didn't even talk about Timber. Like we didn't have Timber today again. So you know, like that's
but I think Calafiori will be available for the opening game of the season, unless he's picked up an injury now, because he is in training. I've seen pictures. I reckon he'll play against Lyon, and I think he'll start the opening game of the season for you. I really do. I think he'll be ready to go.
I heard he's been rested because of course Italy played the Euros. He just came back from a holiday. He's training, but they're resting him. And I think also because of this Timbers injury, which I think they said is nothing major. Hopefully, fingers crossed again, because if this happens 2 seasons in a row, I just think he's no different from Malacia. Both of them should go to a temple somewhere, a Buddhist temple, and be cleansed of whatever it is that is causing their injuries. But yeah, I think for me, Zinchenko, I think people have forgotten, like, you need different profiles. You need different profiles against different teams. I'm happy to have him as a squad player. When we play League Cups, when we play teams that sit deep, you know, where he can help come in and, you know, crowd that midfield, he'll be an addition, you know. So, and then you can rest your players, you can rest the Calafiores, you can rest the Timbers in those games and focus them on the Champions League and the Premiership, you know. Otherwise, you're just going to run these players into the ground. Yeah,
I hear you on that. In terms of your youngsters, especially Nwaneri, what do you expect them to be in terms of their sort of position within the squad in this forthcoming season? Do you expect them to be sort of regular first teamers or sort of those squad players that sort of have a backup role?
I think more of a backup role. I think we're going to see them more in the League Cups, and hopefully we go far in those League Cups, because Arteta needs to take it more seriously, like we normally say. But I think in the first couple of, you know, rounds of the League Cup, we should see them more. And then as it gets more difficult, we put in the more experienced players to be able to get over the hurdle and win those trophies. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But yeah, I think they would be featured more in the very first, like, rounds of the FA Cup, the very first rounds of the League Cup. And they're looking good. I mean, for a 17-year-old, I must say he's looking very good, and he's small. I mean, when I mean small, he's short. He's not a skinny guy. He's short, and he just, you know, he just reminds me of, like, he looks like a Santi Cazorla sized person, and just moves, like, he really moves. And I think he's good. Louis Skelly, I've been watching him for a while now. He's looking super different from the Louis Skelly. I used to think he was so good, but now I know that he's really way better than what I thought. Like, I'm playing him in left back because he's a midfielder. So that's another thing again. Are we going to end up with a Zinchenko type thing in a couple of seasons where we're all going to Louis Skelly out because they're playing him in left back? Because we really know that he's not a left back. we know that, right? Eventually, are we going to do the same thing? Because we know Zini is not a left back. We all know he plays midfield for his country. But
it's different though. It's different.
But we want to crucify him. So all I'm saying is, hey, let's just. I mean, the youngsters, I think, will be, if they'll play fillers, and hopefully they'll make it into the first team. I don't want us to lose these guys. They're very talented. You know.
Listen, I hope that Dio is not trying to start World War III in here, bringing up the Zinchenko comments. Let's not start World War. Let's not bring the group chat here, bro.
Yes,
but I'm gonna say,
Ethan Nwaneri. His name is Nwaneri.
You know what?
Is it a Nigerian name?
It's a Nigerian name.
I really don't want to butcher it.
Hang on. So yeah, how is it pronounced correctly?
Unwaneri.
Wow,
that's how it will be pronounced in Nigeria.
Is it Unwaneri?
No, it's not Ri. Unwaneri. It's an Unwaneri.
Sorry, Saad. So you pronounce the N.
The N is Nwaneri.
Nwaneri.
You don't say an N. You say Nwaneri.
Nwaneri.
No, not N. You don't say.
I'm trying. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I know. I'm not even Igbo. For me, I'm Yoruba, so it's even hard for me as well. It's a different language entirely from my language. But it's a Nigerian name, but it's a different, because we have different languages in Nigeria. There's some languages that I can't pronounce the names because of it's a different language. So this is a different language for me. The N is silent, but it's like Nwanyeri. Like, depending on which tribe in Igbo as well, you need to find out if if it's Abia State or Imo State, because some of them have a different tonation in how it's said.
Do you know what I think they
You
should
know,
do? What the Premier League should do this is they should do it literally a minute recording with every player and just get the player to say their name. This is how you say my name, because I even remember.
Yeah,
do you
in the
remember
comments,
Dimitri?
I'm even pronouncing it wrong. Exactly, Kyrie, they totally said that.
This is exactly it, right? So I mean, again, it's like I remember. Do you remember Dimitri Payet? Great player. We all called him Dimitri Payet, and then what's his name? Evra was on TV saying that the correct French pronunciation is like something like Payet or something like this. So everyone started changing it, and then the player came out and went, "No, it's not. It's Payet. It's the other way." And it's like, bro, it gets so confusing.
It's like Kanu Nwanko. Remember Kanu Nwanko? That's Kanu is also Igbo.
Kanu.
That's a Nigerian. Nwanko.
Okay.
So Nwanko, Nwaneri. That's why I pronounce it that way, because of the Nwanko. But they're both from that region. But I'm
so confused by the modern day world. I don't know whether I'm meant to put the accent into it or not, or whether me putting the accent into it is offensive. Because again, if you speak French and you don't put an accent on their words, they look at you like you've just pissed on them. But then at the same time, if you start saying other nationalities, languages, and you do the accent, people look at you rude. I don't know the law. I don't know the rules anymore. I don't know the rules of engagement.
Right, I just call him Ethan.
Ethan. Yeah, I call him Ethan. It's easier.
I just call him Ethan, bro. I big up Ethan, man.
Cool.
But I can't lie. Just on that, Tel, if you could allow me to go quickly, I just want to say, Ethan for me, he just is special. I don't know what it is about this kid. He just looks so comfortable. Like when you see young players of that age, it's a bit similar to, obviously I'm not comparing it, but it's a bit similar to the Lamine Yamal situation, where they're just so comfortable with the first team and they look like a first teamer. And you can see that he's just so comfortable on the ball, and he does similar things to Martin Odegaard. He looks very comfortable. Like, for me, I think he's ready to take that step into, you know what, you're the guy that's going to come in when we play the cups. You're the guy that's going to come in when we need to take Odegaard off and need to bring somebody on in his place to play in that midfield. I really think I think he's ready to take that jump, given that he's been training with them for I think 2 years now. And listen, he just looks too comfortable for me not to include him and give him the right amount of game time that he deserves, or that I think he deserves.
Saad, if at the end of the season we don't win any trophy, you're going to blame that kid. I don't think.
I
won't. I think he can be part of. I'm going to say I think he can be part of the squad. And in the early games, like I said, really and truly, we need a few more pieces to just go on this season and win trophies. After that, you can drop these kids in. After that, you can drop them in next season. I don't care. But this season, just go and win a couple of trophies. Next season, in fact, next season, rest Odegaard and play 1 year. Play Ethan. I don't care.
Do you know what I think it comes down to, though? It is sometimes it's you don't know what's going to happen. Man United had a plan to use Mainu last year. He featured a lot in pre-season. Then he got injured. But if there wasn't such a problem in our midfield and decline in the Casemiros and the Erikssons as an example, if those two would have started last season and they performed how they both did the previous year, Mainu may have got a lot less game time even when he was fully fit, because we may have been playing well. I think for Ethan, it's all about taking the opportunity when it presents itself. And I think you guys will know the names of your players more than me, and I know the United ones more. There's been a lot of youngsters that we've all had in the last 20 years. You think, oh, I'm really excited. And then they get their League Cup appearances. They get a few Champions League starts. They come on from that bench in Premier League games for 20 minutes. And yeah, they look tidy on the ball. They look comfortable on the ball. But then you start to assess it over 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and you're like, what'd they do? So what did they do to influence the game? Were they able to dominate? And I sort of feel that with how good Arsenal are now, if you look at City as the benchmark, you've got to come in and at least, you need to at least be at like Oscar Bob level straight away. You've got to be at that Oscar Bob. Who's the other young lad they've got who plays fullback? Forget his name.
Rico Lewis.
Rico Lewis probably more. You've got to come in, be Rico Lewis, Oscar Bob level, bare minimum straight away. Because you guys are fighting for a title. You want to develop these youngsters, but what you don't have room for is a youngster that isn't ready to make you at least maintain your quality or better you when they come on. And for me, as a non-Arsenal fan, it's less pressure, but I am excited about. I like seeing young players being developed. I like seeing which ones come of age, which ones deliver, which ones don't. And Ethan, I'm just going to say Nwaneri for now until I learn to say it a different way. Nwaneri. Until that's
right.
I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Also, I don't know whether you're making me say it wrong on purpose, so I look silly. I don't know.
No. Nah. Like I told you, Terry. I'm Yoruba. That's an Igbo name. It's a different language for me. So I don't even understand. Like, yeah. So it's basically not even like I'm trying to mislead you or anything. Even I am not sure. Like the Igbo people around me would tell me if I'm saying it right or not. It's almost like if they had pronounced my full name. You guys, how do you say my name?
Dayo.
My name is Adedayo.
Adedayo.
Not Dayo. It's Dayo. Lower tone.
Dayo. Yes, it's the tone.
Dayo. So that's why I said, like, some people pronounce it. They say Dayo here. I just let it be. It is what it is.
See, I'm going to start making people do it. I want people to say my name like they're a Cockney. So you got to go Terry. Or when you say the obviously Dayo is your abbreviation. In English, if you're called Terry, the short version of your name is Tel, Tel. But when you're a Cockney like me, which is a different dialect, your L's sound like W's. It's Tel. So you've got to say, all right, Tel.
All right, Tel.
Yeah. So yeah, it's strange.
Language is
true. I love it. Cockney is a whole different thing, by the way. Yeah, like they'll be like, "Oh, I'm getting in a jam jar. I'm on a dog and bone." It's a whole different language,
we have our own language within a language. It's crazy. Yeah, Tel. Like all my mates when I grew up in like part of Team GB, I had a lot of friends in Manchester, and they used to laugh. They're like, "Tel, is that with a W?" And I was like, "No." Anyway, we moved on. El Tel.
But Tel, I do understand what you're saying there, though, about the youngsters, because if you look at City, yeah, and we always use City as the example because of what they've done. They've won all the leagues and everything. And they've dominated English football. But you have to have a situation like, look at them. Cole Palmer came out of their academy, played 2 games, and he went to Chelsea. Bro, he saved Chelsea. He went there and was the main man. Matched Haaland, who is their main signing, for goals. So you have to have an attacker, or you have to have a youngster who can get into all of these other teams, who can come in and be a starter.
Yeah, they need to be at that level, and then at the same time, you have to brace yourself for them leaving. And that's not a dig. It's just these things can also happen because if, for instance, Rice and Odegaard and who's the new guy coming, Moreno, say for the next 3 years they are so good. When fit, they can't be dropped. Then you get into a situation where a player like Ethan may go, I need to leave because I need to start playing regular football right now. That can also happen. So, yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting one to see how these players develop in the coming days, weeks, and months as well. Some comments here. First one set. Okay. Nwaneri. See, when I read that, my dyslexia kicks in. Nwaneri.
Oh, that's proper Igbo. That's like the way Igbo people would say. I can hear an Igbo person say, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right as well. 180.
Okay. So is it like when it comes to the different languages within Nigeria, is it can you understand it but not necessarily say it or write it and stuff? Is it? But you can kind of
it's totally different. It's totally different. Like for example, in Hausa to say hello is sonu. In Yoruba it is bawoni. Right?
Oh wow!
In Igbo, I think it is what is Igbo again? Igbo is Ndo. Let me see. That's it. It's just
what does kilote mean?
Kilode. What's going on?
That's the way they say it. Like
that's
is that how they pronounce it? Kilote.
No, it's kilode.
Pronounce it.
Kilode.
My friend Kilote.
Yeah, kilode. That means what's my friend Igbo Kedu,
my friend told me that one.
Yeah, Ndewo or Kedu in Igbo is like saying hello. So it's totally different. Like it's not even a case of like a dialect where it's like, oh, there's this. Now in the Igbo tribe, they have dialects of Igbo, different ones again. In Yoruba, we also have dialects like Ijebu and Egba, and and then in Hausa as well, they have then there's Ishakiri, BBO. It's a long. Don't worry. Let's talk
about. Man. I like this, bro. We're getting a Nigerian lesson.
I like it too. This here says Nwaneri should get more minutes than Fabio Vieira. I mean,
yeah,
potentially, yeah. Potentially. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Back to your point, someone says, so basically you can't answer a simple question. I think that was about who should start, Kai Havertz or Gabriel Jesus. I think we did answer it, though. I thought it was answered. I did think it was answered, but that's just me. Uncle Dayo doing classes. Absolutely. It's good to learn, man. It's good to learn. Broaden your horizons, people. Broaden your horizons. But
can I say this to what you said about Ethan Saad? I think the timing also is a bit off because of what Arteta has done so far now. This is Arteta's season to win a trophy. He can't take the risk on those kids, no matter how talented they are. He needs to get in the right players and win trophies this season. Then he can take the risk on them. Now, the risk you're going to be taking with that is these kids might eventually go to another team because they want minutes, because this season they didn't get enough. But we need to get in the right players and just get this thing over the line. Arteta has done such a good job to this point that the only thing missing is silverware. Without silverware this season, he's failed, literally failed. So my thing is, I would rather not risk it with Ethan and Miles Lewis Skelly. I understand that we want to see our academy players come into the first team. It's a good look. It's a great thing. But timing is a little off for me, where if we had won trophies in the last 2 years or anything, FA Cup, I don't mind this season you doing that because we have something to hold on to. But now that we haven't, at this point, there's no need for taking any risk. Get the right players in. Bring in the right guys, bring in the striker, bring in the midfielder, left 8. Let's just go get some silverware this season.
No, 100%. I agree with you, bro.
So I agree with you. A little off.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is, and obviously this season has such importance on it, and on like actually getting over the line in any competition at this point. So I completely agree with you, man.
I hear you there. Look, I want to thank everybody that has tuned into the show. Obviously, a short match reaction for this preseason game. We'll be back later this week with more content, including the top 6 show tomorrow, as we actually start to preview some real football with the Community Shield on Saturday between Manchester United and Manchester City. Dio, Saad, always a pleasure to sit and speak football with you two gentlemen. To all of our super chatters, all of our viewers, thank you. Hit the like button before you leave. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again soon. Peace.